Okay, so a lot of the stuff I'm doing in these first few videos is just foundational because we have to get our bearings with this culture. I talked about truth last time. I want to talk a little bit about truth versus feelings because I cannot overstate this. The generations, the most recent generations to be born and now in adulthood have been raised on the concept of feelings equals truth. And if you understand that, you will understand a lot of what the problem is that we're facing. So if, as we spoke about last time, truth is outside of ourselves, it exists independent of what we think, feel, desire, independent of our emotions, then we see how massive the shift is to what we have now in the culture, which is quite literally that if you desire it, or if you feel it, or if your emotions tell you something, then you conclude, and you are affirmed in concluding that that is truth, that that is a true thing, that that is reality. And so you can hopefully now sense the quagmire that we find ourselves in, because if truth is based in desires and feelings, then there is no such thing as truth. It's simply whatever anyone feels at this time of day, which could change by the end of the day or even by the end of the morning. Or maybe someone feels or desires this during this season of life. So it could be a few years that someone feels this way or desires this thing, but it's changeable. It will always change. Emotions will always change. Feelings will always change. Desires will change. So the danger of coming to the conclusion that something is true or real based on our feelings is real. It's a real danger. And when you have your entire worldview, your underlying principle based on that, then you have what Jesus called building your house on shifting sand, which is a disaster because the whole edifice is going to fall. So we used to have a culture that said that truth exists, and maybe there would be disagreement on some of that. But in general, everybody knew there was some kind of moral law, something to be adhered to, or you'd strive for something. So that would protect citizens. It would protect children. Because if you all knew that, for example, it was wrong to steal, it was wrong to have sex outside of marriage, it was wrong to, lie, cheat, then you had this bulwark, this safety that could protect the innocent. You'd have people who, of course, didn't live up to that, but that guardrail of truth would be there. So there's a saying that says society can survive its people doing evil, but society cannot survive its people calling evil good. And the reason we call evil good is simply because it makes us feel good. Like, oh, I like this, so now we'll call this evil thing a good. So you've got this huge paradigm shift, the sea change in the culture, going from truth, objective truth outside of yourself that we work, struggle, fight to get to, versus truth is what I feel. And therefore, there are no rules anymore. There are no guidelines for personal conduct, especially. So that's a big thing that we've changed. I'll just say this too. Another thing that we've changed in the culture is, another way to look at it is that we used to say that the meaning of life was to be honorable. Again, this is decades ago, 100 years ago, who knows. Honor was important. Keeping your word was important. Being an honorable person, being a virtuous person was considered important. That's how you lived your life. Is you wanted to be known as someone who is an honorable, good person, and you want to pass that down. Now, you don't even hear the word virtue. That's not even talked about. Now, it's about personal fulfillment and personal happiness. And it's based on personal fulfillment, and personal happiness isn't based on, oh, I'm going to get right with God and therefore have peace interiorly, no matter what happens in my life, no matter the crosses I have to bear. No, it means I get to feel good. I get to feel comfortable. I get to feel lovely, and I get to do what I want. That is now the goal rather than honor and virtue. So if you can recognize these changes in the culture, these foundational things will help you understand what's going on in the culture, what's going on with our children, what's going on just across the board. And it's going to help you get your bearings, and then you won't feel so confused about what's happening. So we'll talk more about this next time. Thanks.